What really lit a fire into my ass was that my dad called me one day and he was like, Ian, you're out there on your own now. I'm doing this for you. I'm gonna cut you off financially because I think that's gonna be the best thing for you. I'm tearing up a little bit right now because I'm like, man, that really, really, really helped me. It didn't make me think like, oh damn, my life is over. It made me think in a way where it was like, if I don't get my shit together, I will literally go broke. And so I thought about what really made me happy, what I really wanted to do in life, and that was make stories and share them to people that would love them across the world. That day, I made a video just for that. It was like my own anime story idea. It was the first video that got 1 million likes, I think 10 million views, that I was really happy about.
Welcome to In Search of Excellence, where we meet entrepreneurs, CEOs, entertainers, athletes, motivational speakers, and trailblazers of excellence with incredible stories from all walks of life. Ian Boggs is one of the most successful influencers of all time. He has more than 30 million followers on YouTube, TikTok, Snap, and Instagram, and his videos have been viewed more than 30 billion times. Ian, welcome to In Search of Excellence. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me here. Let's get into it.
Your dad was born in Arizona and worked in the military in a high-tech job, and you moved around a lot as a kid. You were born in Japan, then moved to Hawaii, Italy after that, which is essentially where you grew up. Mm-hmm. Your mom was a stay-at-home mom. How did your parents influence your future, and how did it impact your success?
Well, one important factor was that my dad he was born in Arizona, but he grew up in Africa, in Kenya. And so I think having grown up with a rough childhood, and my mom kind of having been growing up in Japan, those two influences really worked. I grew up with two different cultures in my life, like a white father who grew up in Kenya and a Japanese mother from Japan, and it's very like different. So for me, growing up with my father in the military, active duty still, growing up in Japan, Hawaii, Italy, really influenced me to see how big the world is. And I think in a way it catered to my content because I understand how people from all around the world work. And social media is an internet thing, not like a US thing. So it's like when I make content, I come in with a mindset that I'm making content for the entire world, not just for the US or whatever. And that in the long run kind of, I guess, helped me get those billions of views and hopefully 1 billion followers someday, we'll see.
Were your parents into photography at all, or how did you end up getting a camera when you were 5 years old? And tell us about the Legos you had.
Oh, yeah. So I actually haven't started sharing the story until recently, but I'm glad you remember that. My mom loved photography, and my dad bought her like this super expensive, super nice camera set, which eventually kind of became mine because I just used it more. And I remember like I loved Legos as a kid, like a little kid, like as a 5-year-old probably. And I would grab these Legos and just like make videos out of them, but I would also like kind of burn them sometimes.
Burn them with a lighter?
Yeah, like a lighter or whatever.
Wouldn't the plastic smoke and smell bad?
Yeah, it smelled so bad, but for some reason it was like, I didn't have the budget to make special effects and I didn't know how to do that. So my only way to like make cool videos was, oh, I'm not putting this together. Like now I know how to make better fire than like sometimes even Marvel does in their videos and just in my computer in my home. But yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't have the budget to like, or know how to make these cool videos and ideas that I had. So I would make videos of burning Legos with reason, like he got shot by a firepower or something like that.
Right, but you're 5 to 8 years old, you're shooting these videos. Where are you putting them? There's no YouTube back then, and it was just to put on a little camcorder and put on the TV and watch it on the TV?
Or not even watch it on TV, just watch it on the camera.
Like a little 2-inch screen?
See that I created something that can be eternalized in this form of content. And I guess I didn't really know that like as a kid, but now I'm like looking back like, wow, I've been doing this since I was like 5 years old or 8. I don't know how exactly I was, but yeah, around then.
So you've had a creative penchant since you were a kid. Tell us also how you were business minded as a kid and walk us through 5 years old to 15 years old. What were you like as a kid? Were you social, going out, popular?
Yeah, I was really introverted as a kid. I didn't start doing sports until I was like, I think middle school or so. But before that, I would like come home from elementary school and like play Roblox all the time. And I was just really always super creative. And my parents always pushed me to do that. So when it came to things like drawing, like I would submit to art contests and win a lot of them. Um, I I just always had a creative mindset, and my parents would always like enforce that in me. And so when it came to business, my dad always told me a saying where it was kind of like, always do what makes you happy, but make sure you're financially secure as well. Like make sure you're still making money. Um, and I think me having grown up like mowing people's lawns, my dad teaching me that nothing ever comes for free, um, even though he wasn't like crazy rich or anything, he would allow us to have allowances like for a month or so. And it taught me that growing up, like nothing ever comes for free. Um, and then when I went to college, I was 17 and I didn't have a chance to get my driver's license because I was growing up around the world. But even though I had no like real money, my dad kind of like sold me his like hand-me-down car that he still had in San Diego for like $100 because it's just like he would have given it to me for free, but he wanted me to know like nothing comes for free. So at least pay me $100 for this car, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah. So you mowed lawns. Did you knock on your neighbors' lawns door to door, or how did you get the business?
No.
Do you remember,
So
do you remember how much you got paid for the lawns?
Yeah, I remember like one day I made like $300 and I was so happy. But yeah, and
for mowing a lawn?
No, not just for mowing a lawn, but like this one guy, he lived across from us as a kid, when I was a kid, and he saw me mowing my own lawn. I think my dad paid me like $5 for like a lawn mow. And then the neighbor right across from us like saw that happening and came over and like asked us like, hey, could Ian mow my lawn for I think it was $5 or $8 per like lawn mow. But then there was one day where he wanted me to like spray down the windows, like clean the backyard, like their dog poop, like so many things. And then it just like I think because he was moving away too and he wanted to gift me something. He gave me $300, and I remember like posting about it on Facebook, like, I just made $300 like in one day, and I was so excited. My mom was like, you should never post about how much you make, and then at that point I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't share like the amount of money I make and all that kind of stuff. Be humble about it. Yeah.
I think humble's a very important part of our success. We're going to talk about that a little later in the show.
Yeah.
You moved around a lot as a kid, country to country. You speak multiple languages. Education, I think, is one of the most important ingredients of our success. I think it's the biggest investment we can make in ourselves.
Yeah.
You were a poor student for a while, 2.9 GPA.
Yeah.
And then something happened when you moved. How did you go from 2.9 GPA to 4.0 GPA taking AP classes?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't get it quite to 4.0. It was 3.7, but then again,
man,
like
that's terrible.
Yeah, still going from a 2.93% was pretty cool. So like in Hawaii, education's not like the number one factor. For me, it was like sports, because I got into sports in middle school, swimming and track in particular, and surfing too. And so growing up, I was like, school's school. Like I would rather just like focus on my creative stuff and being a good athlete and working out. And then something happened where my dad got stationed in Italy, so of course we moved with him. And on these military bases, people come from all over the world, all over the country. And so on the military base I was living in Italy, that was the first time I heard about AP classes and like that you need good grades to go to college and get a good job. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And then I was in school, and all these like East Coast kids who obviously like know about the Ivy Leagues and all that kind of stuff were like becoming my friends through the swim team and all that. And I saw them study hard, and like that was a cool thing to do at this school. And so ever since I moved from Hawaii to Italy, I started taking every AP class I could, studying really hard, got a 4.0 or above every single year, and went from a 2.9 to a 3.7, I believe, when I graduated. So almost went to Berkeley, got waitlisted there, instead went to UCI, and I'm so glad I did because it was the epicenter of like LA, San Diego, and all the places I love in California.
Right. So University of California at Irvine,
Yep.
for those people who don't know and are not from California.
Yeah.
And you were studying biology,
Yeah.
studying to be a doctor, which is very different from what you're doing. Did your parents
Very
say, I want my son to be a doctor, like a lot of parents? Or what made you go
Yeah.
from being a doctor, want to be a doctor, to shifting to an entirely new career? Why did you stop?
So when I was in college, well, we'll go back to my senior year of high school first. So I I got caught cheating on a test, or attempting to cheat on a test.
That's not good.
It was not good at all. And I was on track to be student body president. And then I lost that. And I got so depressed. And I was like, man, like this little stupid like thing that I did lost me like this whole entire great thing I was gonna have that was gonna get me into all these colleges, whatever. But I'm actually thankful that happened, because ever since that happened, I didn't cheat like once. And I was like, man, like this, because the truth is like everyone in high school cheats at least once on a test or a paper or whatever. And it's not anything to be ashamed of, it's just a human thing. But it taught me that like, if you really wanna be smart and really know your stuff, then don't cheat, like really work on your stuff and your craft. So after that, I was like, what's the most like respectful career and most like earning career that I could go into that's gonna be financially stable? And that was becoming a doctor. And I had grown up going to Africa a lot, like visiting family there and all that, and seeing the poverty there. And so I wanted to really help out and become not a doctor just for the money, but also join Doctors Without Borders. So I would go to the library when I got suspended for cheating and all that, and then just study up on all that stuff. And this is like, I'm drifting off right now, but I ran into this substitute teacher who really helped me out in school. And she was telling me that like her son got suspended from school for something really small too, and that's something to be ashamed of or whatever. And like that helped me so much. So I think it's like really helpful when adults are understanding to kids, because that helps them in their career later on. So going back to my story, went into all these applications for college to become a doctor. Did my first year as bio in Irvine. Love the practicals, love the science of it. I love biology as a science, but I could not sit down and read a science book for a whole day for the life of me. And I would always like just drift off a little bit in lectures. So I came to a realization that like the thing that I love doing the most is making videos. It's what I've loved doing since I was a kid. I love acting, love scripting, love writing, love doing all these things. The chances of me being a successful doctor making millions or whatever is probably like 1 out of a million, 2 million, 100 million, whatever. The chances of me becoming a successful director or a creative person is honestly probably around the same chance, same, if not harder. So why not go for the harder route that's really gonna make me happy, that may even help more people around the world with social media? And so that summer after my first year, I started posting a lot more videos. I saved up some money and bought a camera. And I think the first video I posted where I was just doing something that I thought was funny and cool, cutting my own hair and making fun of like alpha males on social media, went viral.
28,000 views.
Yeah, 28,000 views. Yeah, at that time it was 28,000 views. Good job, nice. And for me now, like viral is like 100 million views and all that, but it's a different world. And I remember like that happened and I was like, wow, it is possible to naturally, organically go viral and make people laugh or enjoy a piece of content online. So ever since then, I just kept posting videos, stuff started doing well, and switched my major from bio to film and media studies, and really worked on film and worked for other photographers and videographers and just honed on my craft. Yeah, so that, I suppose, the shift in mindset of like, you only get this one chance in life to chase what's really gonna make you happy made me work even harder for what I wanted to do. And I just haven't stopped doing that since.
You're very business-minded, and we've talked about that a little bit already, but I want to go back to cutting hair.
Yeah.
in your dorm.
Oh yeah.
My son goes to Menlo College, and there's someone in his dorm
Oh,
who
yeah,
cuts
I bet.
hair. I think he charges $35. There's shit all over the place.
I bet.
Cleaning
Yeah.
up. What was that experience like? What made you want to do it? And you also had another business as well in college.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
paid off your loan. So let's talk about those as well.
I'm really, I'm all about like creative businesses, especially now where the internet exists and social media, it's more popular than ever. When I had that video of me like cutting my hair go viral, people didn't realize that was my first time ever cutting hair. And I'm a perfectionist, so it took me 3 hours to like cut my own hair.
You cut your own hair. Did you use a mirror so you can see what you're doing?
Yeah, I didn't do this haircut on my own, but this was Dane Cuts. Shout out to Dane Cuts.
Shout out.
Yeah, it's how do I explain this?
Are you looking for your next great gift to surprise a friend, colleague, or loved one? Bliss Beaches makes the perfect gift. This best-selling bright and beautiful coffee table book by Randall Kaplan features stunning drone photography from exotic beach locations around the world. It's the perfect housewarming gift, a great addition to any home or office, and a fun and creative alternative to bringing a bottle of wine to somebody's house for dinner. Bliss Beaches is available for purchase on Amazon, where it has glowing reviews and a 5-star rating. Get your next amazing gift and order a copy of Bliss Beaches by clicking the link in our show notes.
They were actually the barbers I went to when I was in college. So I loved their like work. So I was making a joke of like, I was trying to make fun of like alpha males that were like the thing on like social media back then, and do like a parody, but like cut my own hair and make it look cool in the same way. So I gave myself a fade and tagged Dane Cuts and was like, hire me, haha, lol, because I was still a broke college student. And then they responded back with like, we'll take you, da-da-da. I thought they're being serious, so I was like, I really need a job, can I do this? And they're like, well, you kind of need like training first and all that. And I was like, oh, okay. But after that, like all my friends started hitting me up for a haircut. And I was like, I'm not sure, like I just started doing this, but I'll charge $15 for a haircut just because I still don't know what I'm doing. They're like, sure, whatever. Came in, like, gave him just like a 3 on the sides, like whatever. Like it's really basic, really. And not to discount the work of other barbers, but like for what they wanted, it was pretty basic. So I just did that and they were happy with it. And I was like, what the hell? I can make money doing this right now? Like I just picked up this skill like in 3 hours and now I'm making money off of it. But when it came to, I wasn't that passionate about cutting hair. What I was passionate about was making stories and making videos out of them. And at that time, my way of doing that was photography and videography. So I learned the business of it, like putting myself out there on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, all these things, and eventually like becoming the graduation photographer of my college. Not from the college, I was just better than the college hired photographers. And so grinded on that, did like 100 graduation shoots in 1 or 2 months, I think.
That's a lot of dough.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember like my first $5,000 I made, I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I made $5,000, let's go. And he was like, I'm really happy for you, son, da-da-da. Save that money up. And I was like, okay. My dad did help me a lot with paying for college because military helped with that. And then another part of it, my dad actually helped me out of pocket. But the remaining funds of it, I was able to pay off by doing my photography. And through doing that, through just talking to people at weddings that I shot for, which was also good dough, I got hired to do like these fashion shoots that was like, I think it was like 4 hours of shooting for $1,000. And at that time, that was like the most that I had made from photography. And I was like, 4 hours of shooting, $1,000. What? That's crazy. Did that. And I was like, this is insane. Like the amount of money you can make from just grinding on your creative aspects is insane. And so I can go into social media with this because then it gets to like a crazy more amount of money, but it's like, it's not about the money. It's more about like, I was doing what made me happy and I worked hard for it. I think that's why the money came.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about creating content in general from a 30,000-foot view. There's a lot of people watching and listening who don't know who you are, haven't heard of you, haven't been following you on social media, but they've read about a lot of social media influencers making tons of money. They read Forbes, who now rank the top earning influencers. There's a guy named Jimmy Donaldson who goes by the name Mr. Beast on social media, who reportedly made $47 million last year. And these people, sometimes even me, they can't understand how influencers make this much money, and they say to themselves, this looks simple and easy. All you need is a camera and a tripod. You get one of those selfie sticks, and then you say a bunch of silly things. Can't anybody do this? And why not?
Well, the thing is, like, anyone can do it, but who's gonna be willing to like Jimmy just made a video where he spent 7 days underground. Like, who's gonna be willing to do that? Like, who's gonna be willing to sacrifice the time it takes to do this? Because Jimmy spent like a whole week underground. Not everyone's willing to do that. For me, it's like when I was first really starting out on social media, here's what happened. So I wanted it so bad. The pandemic came. I was making good money from photography, my own businesses. I was on track to work for National Geographic. Like, my grandpa worked for National Geographic, so my dad grew up in Africa. Had the connections. I was doing travel photography. I was doing really well on social media for a photographer.
Right in college or in summers?
And this was like my senior year of college, right before graduating. Okay. My last quarter of college was when the pandemic hit. But that dream of becoming a social media content creator was always in my mind because I grew up with YouTube. And when Vine came out, I wanted to be big on Vine, but I was so young, I probably wasn't funny enough for the older audiences on there. And so when TikTok started going viral, my friends started going viral on it, I wanted it so bad. I remember the week of spring break, that was when the pandemic hit, and I was like, well, all my travel plans are gone. I can't do as much photography as I wanted to do. I will not make money unless I do something now. So honed in on what I'm passionate about and what I can make money from, and that was TikTok, social media. So I had 300 followers when I first started posting on TikTok, grinding. It was spring break, and I decided that I'll make a YouTube video called How to Go Viral on TikTok. And I decided to post 10 times a day, 10 videos a day, and just like try to go viral. Like, something has to go viral. I post 10 videos a day. And on my 4th day, I had a video go super viral, and I was like, what? That's crazy. After 40 videos of posting, like, something went viral.
What does that mean? Give us a sense of how
it was many? Like 100K views.
Okay.
And for an account with like 1,000 followers, that's pretty good. And I remember, like, when you get 1,000 followers, you can go live. And so I remember, like, I wanted it so bad. I would like put the live facing me as I sleep every single night, and I would wake up to seeing how many like people were watching me and stuff.
So there's nothing going on. You're sleeping.
I'm just sleeping
in the dark or with lights on.
In the dark, just like okay. I'm like, okay, good night, guys. Like, I was so responsive to my followers. I wanted my followers to feel like they know me, like as a friend, and I still kind of try to still do that. So I would go to sleep. I would have the live on me all night. Wake up, and I remember, like, when I woke up to like 100 people watching me, because that's a lot for someone with 1,000 followers. I was like, something had to have gone viral. Something did. And it was just like a comedy video, like nothing I was really proud of, but it's often the ones you don't expect to go super viral that are the ones that do. So I kept honing in on that. A month goes by, I hit 100K. Another month goes by, I hit another 100K. Keep going. At 300K, I'm almost about to graduate. I got to call my parents, and I'm like, Dad, like, I took the aptitude test for the military as like a backup if I can go in. I passed everything with flying colors. I can go back to photography. I can go back to school, whatever. But I think I only had this one chance in life to like really make this happen. And I was crying on the phone, and my dad was like, Ian, if it's gonna make you happy, do it. If you can make money from it, do it. I believe in you. My mom was saying the same thing too.
So important. Four most important words of the English language, I think, are "I believe in you," and it's something incredible that parents can tell their kids. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's so like backwards to what most of society kind of like tells everyone, but from what I've heard from like even my friends that have grown exponentially, their parents were the same way, like supported them in what they wanted to do, but were realistic about expectations and goals. So like, yeah, you can go and pursue art, but if you don't think about business, of course you'll be a starving artist. Like, you have to really like think about what's going to make you money. Otherwise, you can't have the security to be as creative as you possibly can. And I think that's really important. Well, I follow this 2-for-1 rule that my friend told me. She's also a big creator. And it's a 2-for-1 rule where for every 2 pieces of content you make that you know is going to do well on social media or whatever platforms you post on, post one thing for yourself. And whether that's like a creative thing or another direction, just do it for yourself. And eventually those 2 things will kind of level out. And I like that because it allows me to make money and still think about business while also pursuing the things that truly, truly make me happy inside and show my creative side, aside from just what I know is going to go viral.
So
Yeah.
when you reached 1 million followers,
Yeah.
you thought about quitting, you had a lot of anxiety. Take us through the 100,000 views here and there, and how long did it take you to get to 1 million, and why did you think about quitting? And I think it was your dad who said, don't quit.
Yeah. So my dad told me, Ian, get your head out of your ass. That's basically what he said. He was like, you can make money from this. You have 1 million followers. What the hell are you thinking? And at that time, like 1 million was a lot on TikTok. Now there's like 100 influencers with 1 million followers on TikTok. But at that time, like I was one of the, I guess, forerunners of like doing TikTok and having a thing on there. And that back then my thing was like comedy, anime, and teaching Japanese in a funny way. So when I hit 1 million, I had a lot of anxiety because, and this is on TikTok, because I had videos that got 1 million views before. I had gotten 1 million likes before, but people who follow me, it had never been 1 million before. And I was like, man, like, do I really deserve this? Like, I know I worked really hard for it, but that's a lot of people watching me. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I was just carrying in my head about like, do I really want to do this forever? Because the truth is, I wasn't happy about the content I was posting. It was just a way, it was a means to an end of, yes, I like making videos, but I don't want to be a Japanese teacher. Like, I don't want to, like, not that that's a bad job, but I don't want to like do that for the rest of my life. I want to act. I want to make videos. I want to make movies. And it's funny because at that time I had gone back to live with my parents for a bit to just save money and pursue this content thing in Colorado. Colorado's beautiful, but it doesn't have as many entrepreneurial people as California does. And that's where I was thriving. So came time for me to move out of my parents' house after being there for 5 months after graduating. Went back to LA. Had enough saved up to be good for a year.
What amount was that?
$20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was all right. I could survive.
You're eating rice and noodles.
Yeah,
and
I was surviving.
Kraft macaroni
I
and
was
cheese.
literally like going like day to day, like rent to rent. I was surviving. I was cooking all my. I had visible abs because I was starving. Like literally, it was crazy. Like I wasn't starving. I was just really like grinding my ass off, and so that lit what really lit a fire into my ass was, can I swear on here? Is that fine?
Yeah.
Was that my dad called me one day and he was like, Ian, you're out there on your own now. I'm doing this for you. I'm gonna cut you off financially because I think that's gonna be the best thing for you. And he did that, and I knew that it would be because it would force me to like really work hard. I'm tearing up a little bit right now because I'm like, man, that really, really, really helped me. It didn't make me think like, oh damn, my life is over. It made me think in a way where it was like, if I don't get my shit together, I will literally go broke. And so I thought about what really made me happy, what I really wanted to do in life, and that was make stories and share them to people that would love them across the world. And that day, I made a video just for that. It was like my own anime story idea. Put some cool B-roll on it, filmed it with my camera that not many people were doing on social media, had some good lighting on it, posted it. It was the first video that got 1 million likes, I think 10 million views, that I was really happy about. Like I was genuinely happy about. It was a completely original idea. Like people loved it. And then I just kept doing videos like that for I think like a good 6 months every single day, 1 or 2 videos just like it. And then I went from 3 million to 10 million in just 6 months. And then that of course grew my Instagram and my TikTok. So my TikTok went from like, no, my YouTube went from like 13K to I think 3 million in 6 months. And then the year after, 3 million to 10 million. Now it's at 15 million. TikTok's at almost 15 million. Instagram's at 1.7. And it's just like, the numbers don't matter, but they're a good source of knowing how much people like your content. And if what you're doing makes you happy and people are happy watching it. And so that's what I look for in the numbers. I'm like, okay, it's grown and I'm also happy. So that's cool.
Let's go back to something you said, because I think it's something most people wouldn't think about. You said you had a lot of anxiety when there were 1 million users. Why? Were you afraid that you were influencing a huge number of people and may not be doing the right thing by them?
I think it was also the hate too, like the hate comments.
Okay.
Like I made some cringy videos for sure.
This episode of In Search of Excellence is brought to you by Sandee.com. SANDEE.com. We're a Yelp for beaches and have created the world's most comprehensive beach resource by cataloging more than 100 categories of information for every beach in the world, more than 100,000 beaches in 212 countries. Sandee.com provides beachgoers around the world with detailed, comprehensive, and easy-to-use information to help them plan their perfect beach getaway at home and abroad, and to make sure you're never disappointed by a beach visit again. Plan the perfect beach trip today by visiting Sandee.com. That's www.sandee.com. The link is in our show notes. Stay sandy, my friends.
People say like, don't call your own content cringy, but if you know some of your content is cringy, like screw it, like call yourself cringy, like embrace your cringe. And so posted some cringy videos, like of course some comments were like, wow, what's this, like who is this guy, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, like I don't want 1 million people saying that to me, but I had to realize like, no, the millions of people are the people who like you. They wouldn't hit follow unless they liked what you do. And if anything, people commenting stuff like that like you even more than the people who genuinely like you, because they're supporting you in a way that like is stronger than love. Like hate, I think, is sometimes or oftentimes stronger than love. And so the fact that like they're hating on your stuff, it's a result of what's inside of them, not what's inside of you, because you're the one putting yourself out there. You should own that. And so for me, like once I made that shift, I was like, oh my God, like I can, like the world is your oyster. Like just do what you love and be the best at it and work harder than anyone else in the world will at it.
You still have the haters now. You probably have a lot more haters, but and does it bug you? I mean, do you go to bed thinking about, it's terrible?
I look at the first like 5 minutes of comments and then I'll go back to it probably the day after or like even a month after, because I think it can be unhealthy to check comments a lot. People will think what they think about your content regardless, and they'll comment whatever they want to comment. And that's just a matter of them and what they feel. To me, it's more about now, like, what do I love doing that, of course, will still financially provide me and make my followers happy, but also, like, make me happy. And as long as those 3 things are met, I could care less about what anyone has to say about my content, good or bad. Yeah.
There's so much now about people having teams. And their social media teams do all the commenting. So it's not really you. It's somebody else. Do you have people who work for you who do all the comments, or how do you?
Yeah, the comments, like that's me still.
But how do you have time to engage with 30 million followers on multiple platforms? That would take you 10 hours a day to comment on the comments. But
yeah, true. Yeah, if I were to want to go in and like look at all the comments, yeah, it would take forever. Like nobody has time for that. But then again, like a month later, I'll come back to a video and it's like, oh, like this video did really well. Let me see what's happening down here. Of course, some of the comments are good. Some of the comments can be like, what is this? And then like, it is what it is. But yeah, I'll try to like respond to like the comments that I like that come in within the first like 5 minutes of a video being posted and show some love, because obviously I wouldn't be here without my followers, and that's why I always thank them. And I think more content creators and influencers should thank their followers, because it's a two-way road. Like you can't have one without the other. And so, yeah, I genuinely think more influencers and content creators should thank their followers more.
So I've got a podcast, I have a YouTube channel. I'm late to the game on my podcast, 3 years coming up. And again, I appreciate you being here. You're the youngest guest I've ever had.
Oh, let's go.
So pumped about that. And obviously I want to grow mine. And I want to be one of the top 10 podcasters. I've had some amazing guests like you. I'm a little late in the game, but I get approached every day. I mean, I have 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, maybe more right now. They see I have a podcast. They see my guests because we post the guests.
Yeah.
I get approached every day. Let me help you with your social media. We've met with probably 10 people, my team and I, people who will refer to us and people who use, and they will charge for the followers. They will charge for the likes, and they have, and it's, I mean, from what I understand, and I've talked to my friends in the podcast business, some of them in the influencer business, people buy followers. People spend tens of thousands of dollars a month. I get business plans where you say, all right, we'll get you 100,000 followers. You can then get people to sponsor, advertise, and they actually show the graph where if you invest $100,000, here's what you're going to start to get. And we said no to all that. I'm never going to do that. Organic. What do you think about that whole industry? And do you know Instagrammers who started out doing that? Do you need to do that to be successful when you start out?
No, it doesn't make sense. As someone who literally, when I was younger, I didn't know about this stuff, and I was starting to make money from my part-time job. And so I was like, oh, maybe it would help my business. So I think I bought 100 or 1,000 followers. This is way back before I was even doing this full time. This is I think I was 18 or something. And I bought a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 maybe. And then did the free, the likes app. You like someone's photo, they give you a like back or something like that.
Right.
And
they don't like that anymore, by the way. Instagram hates the app.
Oh, yeah, it will not.
Yeah, they don't let you do it anymore.
Yeah, and I'm glad they do that. And same with the followers thing, Instagram will delete those followers. I'm pretty sure any followers I bought, those accounts are deleted. They're just bots. And this was way back before I even knew how to do social media. And the reason why I don't like those things, and I tell my friends never to ever buy followers or anything, it's because it's not gonna be real. Would you buy a fake apple and eat it? No, you would never do that because that would kill you or get you sick. And same thing with buying the fake stuff. You buy some fake followers, what's that gonna do? Your likes aren't gonna go up because they're fake.
Oh no, you can buy the likes too.
You can do that.
We met with
Oh gosh,
like consultants, and it's a whole thing. And we can't get caught. We use VPNs. We have all these accounts. And I said, it sounds sketchy.
Literally
everybody does it.
Literally saying you can't get caught is just blatantly saying we're lying here. It's so, I know everyone gets those emails because I still get those emails. If your email's on your platform and you have a platform, people are going to try to sell whatever they can. And I see those and I'm like, what are you guys doing, man? Don't do this. It's a scammy business. It's a scam business. It's what it is. So I don't do that. I know that for me and anyone else that I know, and anyone who's big, they do not do that. No one, that's not a thing to do for sure. It's just not organic.
Can you explain how the whole social media industry works from a financial point of view? How you get paid? Who pays you? Do platforms be different? And how do you make money on this?
You can make money a numerous amount of ways on social media. If you've grown your platform and you've grown an organic platform that really likes you. One way is merch. A secret for now, so we're going to keep that on the side. You guys can wonder what it is, but I'll just point to my eyes and you'll probably know.
You shared it with me. It's very exciting, by the way. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. The other way is AdSense, obviously. The biggest creators I know, myself included, make a lot and the most from AdSense. It's the most stable amount of income.
Okay, so most people don't know what that is. If you're not in the business, you have no idea. If you're in a corporate job, you have no idea.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? What is it? How does it work? Who helps you with it? And what's the math?
So on YouTube, you're able to make money off of your videos after you reach a certain following and a certain amount of view time on your videos. And for 8-minute videos, you can put in as many ads as you want to, but obviously you don't want to scare away your viewers with too many ads.
But wait, so do people come to you when you have videos? Does Google say, okay, now we can make money? Or
So
how do you know? Do you reach out to people?
You got to reach a certain threshold, and
What's the threshold typically?
I think it's like 4,000 hours of watch time, and then 10,000 followers or something like that, which I think makes sense because you gotta like, it's an achievement like unlockment. Like it's like I worked hard for this. Now we can trust this profile is gonna keep posting, so we can trust to put ads on it as Google, as a company. It's also a two-way road. Like Google makes money, we make money. It's a creator-based economy, which I really like and I understand. So with the AdSense, you can, whenever you click on a YouTube video and it's a viral video, most of the time it's going to have an ad play at the beginning, couple in the middle, and then one at the end of the video. And each of these ads has like a certain amount of like money attached to it. I won't disclose that because I don't want to, everyone's is different.
Okay. Give us a sense of the average.
I want to say, I don't know. It's just so everywhere. You can look it up online, but it's like, it's
Well, take a guess. I mean, take yours and divide by some big number.
I don't feel comfortable sharing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like you'll make a certain amount of money from your videos because each ad will have a certain amount of money attached to it, and
meaning the company will pay Google a certain amount of money to get a certain amount of views.
Exactly. So any kind of ad, like you could go into Google right now and put in an ad video, like an ad roll in there, and then put the money in there, like add in some money, and it's like the drop shipping method of when people do Facebook drop shipping and all that kind of stuff. Like they'll put in a certain amount of money to have the video go across a certain amount of videos or the ad, and then that money gets dispersed towards Google and towards the creator of the video. So that's one of the most stable ways of making money, because if you have a engaging audience that watches your videos and you get X amount of views per video, then you can expect to make a certain amount each month, because the views per month are usually around the same. You get a certain amount of money from each video, and now even with shorts you're able to make money because I think it's like for every 4 videos there's an ad playing.
So tell people what a short is as well. So there's a long form video, which is, what is that? Is that 4 to 20 minutes? And then what's a short?
I say a long form videos, it's technically anything that's horizontal over like 30 seconds, I think, but I count it as like an 8-minute video, because with 8-minute videos you can put mid-roll ads, which are ads in the middle of the video, wherever you want to.
In this mid-roll, are people who are coming to you as sponsors directly and say, I want to be in your show? Or
so they don't do that.
Well,
I mean, those are brand deals. So I've done a couple brand deals where like a brand comes to us, and then my managers will go back and forth with a price range, and like we'll negotiate, and then we'll discuss on the video and like how to go about doing that. And for me, I always try to make it natural and make sure that I like the product before I do something with it. Like 3 good examples were like Marvel, Netflix, and Old Spice. They were great to work with. It's Google as well. I did a show with them, an animated show where I was the voice actor for it, but also did some brand deals with them, and we're currently doing one right now, and it's been great. Y'all have all been great. Definitely want to keep working with you. But they were great because they gave me a good amount of creative freedom, and my audience liked the products as well, and they already use them. Like we all already use Netflix, we already use YouTube and Google. A lot of guys use Old Spice, girls too, and then Marvel. I just genuinely love Marvel. I want to act in Marvel someday. That's some of my goals. So those are brand deals, and they get put into the video. But with AdSense, it's an ad from a company paying to have their ad, like a commercial, played before X amount of videos in X category. So for me, like I'll probably have like a Netflix show commercial play before one of my videos because it's around the same niche of my videos, storytelling and TV and film.
Thanks for listening to part 1 of my awesome conversation with Ian Boggs. Be sure to tune in next week to part 2 of my incredible interview with Ian.